example, he did wedding decorations, and he still has a store and stuff. So, it's nice that I'm able to give back. And if you guys, I just wanted to provide, some insight into some of the things that I've learned growing up around it. And then because of that, I have a desire to have my own business, and I recently started a line of homemade sauces. And I work full time, so I just do it on the weekends. And I initially put an ad in the newspaper, and I got some phone calls, and then from there I started asking them for referrals, and then that led to me partnering up with this lady, this chili company at the farmer's market. So right now I'm just working with them to do it.
I'm from Mexico. My name is Alma Spindola, and I have experience in my background working for big companies as communications companies, and also to Mexican cereals as manager and sales manager and marketing manager. After that, I just can be manager for restaurants for 7 years, and that's why I'm too familiar with food sales and buyer food and everything else. My big dream is have my own restaurant now. Right now, I'm doing caterings. I have a partnership with a friend of mine who she's a party planner, and we are doing business together and find partnership with some persons related to this kind of business as photographers, singers, mariachis, and everybody around this kind of business now. And I'm working now in doing my own business, like have my own brand for food, like my personal brand, and make a work station for food in downtown city. Working on it.
For me, the definition of sales is converting potential customers into paying customers. I think that at the end of the day, there is no secret formula. A lot of it just comes down to having a positive attitude. And I know it sounds really, I don't even know the words, but I sell every day, and I hear more no's than yes. And sometimes the no just means not yet. And that's why I wanted to put this slide here, because you have to sometimes go through that process until you get that one customer. And then we could talk about more of what I think the process is. So this is what I think is a successful sales cycle. Everyone has their own. And so, the first thing is working hard. And one of the biggest things I always learn, because I don't have any patience in life, and it was just that, Rome wasn't built in a day, and I hear it every single day because I want things to happen tomorrow, especially when you're out there working, and then you just get discouraged. And then, preparing, and that, that's kind of a loaded word. I think we're going to talk later on about goals and setting specific dates and timelines for things, and I think that's where the prepare comes in. And then it's engaging, in your customers. I know Alma's going to talk more about customer interaction, but I think that that's also a very important step, and I'm sure all of you guys have that, and that's the great thing about immigrants, is that you have that passionate quality to really connect with your customers. And then it's getting the commitment and earning the sale. I think the most important step is the one after, which is...
Wait, sorry, could you explain a little more, like getting the commitment and earning?
Oh, earning the sale, yeah.
Yeah.
So, when you're engaging in the customer and you're getting to know them and you're asking them their needs, their wants, afterwards, once you discover that they want to buy your product, you get a verbal commitment saying, yes, I'm interested. But that doesn't mean you're going to earn the sale, because a lot of people are interested. And then I think it's asking more questions of, and I know you're going to talk about it a little bit more, but just asking more questions along the lines of why they, like if they can't afford to do it right now, and then maybe changing your business plan based on that. And I have an example. My mom, when she started her bridal business, she was just selling lace, and she got this lace from New York, and she would sell it, and she would charge 3 yards for $1. And then she started getting, being in Houston, there's a huge Hispanic population, so a lot of people would come in and say, oh, well, we do, quinceañeras and weddings, and obviously I'm Indian, and we only, so my mom had no idea. So this kind of went on for like 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then she basically learned that whole side of the business. So it was really ironic because we grew up around that, but, she's like, none of my daughters will ever wear a wedding dress, which is kind of weird, but at the end of the day, I think that during that part of getting the commitment and earning the sale, initially she was wondering why she wasn't able to expand her customer base. And then from there, she realized that, there's different markets of people. And initially, she was just focusing on what she knew, and selling specific fabrics and laces that are, from India. So that kind of leads to, I think, the next step, because there are a lot of customers that will come in and say, okay, we're interested, and then they'll buy it, but then they don't ever come back. And I think that's why it goes hand in hand on sometimes maybe even changing your market and what you might, you might have a great idea, but it might only be specific for that market. And, just kind of expanding it, and that's where the reorder comes in, because there might be other people out there or, other areas that I'm just not aware of. Do you guys have any questions? Is it confusing or? Okay. And then I think the next step is to earn a reorder. And then a big one for me is referrals. Even in my day-to-day sales, if I go visit a customer, I always ask for 2 to 3 referrals from them. When I started selling my sauces, it was the same thing. This one lady called me from the newspaper, and she liked the sauces. I went to her house, and it was very personal, and she's like, oh, this is great, my kids will like it. And then I started focusing on kids because it's a very mild sauce. And then I asked her, I go, well, can you give me some names? And then she gave me 5 of her friends' names. And then now it's just, I have like 50 customers. But it literally was something that I got just by asking her to help me out. And I think that makes a big difference. And then, some of the good ones, they can give you a testimonial and, write something great, which obviously comes in time. But, so I think that this is what a successful sales cycle is for a customer.